Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tips. My name is Julian and this is a bonus waiver wire video for week 16 of the fantasy hockey season. Since this week is a long week, it's 2 whole weeks long, I'm going to update you with some more pickups that I think you guys should consider adding ahead of the second half of week 16, right after the All-Star break. Before we get started, guys, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and follow me on Twitter at FantasyTipped. I'm constantly posting there to help you guys win each and every week. Now let's get started, and let's start with the schedule for this week. So as you can see here with the schedule posted on the screen, there is no day this week that has an overly crazy amount of games. The busiest night is Saturday with only 8 games, so only 16 teams playing. So in all likelihood, you can fit players in your lineup pretty much any time this week, but you should definitely go through your schedule and make sure that the players you pick up can actually fit in your lineup. So basically what I'm saying is that off nights are not overly important this week, since likely you can fit pretty much anyone in your lineup. Now there are a few teams that have really bad schedules for this half week, and those teams are Florida, LA, the Rangers, and the San Jose Sharks. None of those teams play a single game this week. So if you're holding some low-owned players from these teams, you might want to consider dropping them if there's a chance that you're going to lose this week in exchange for someone who, might play a few more games. And then there's the Anaheim Ducks, who only play 1 game this week, and that is on Friday. And then there are actually a few teams that have really good schedules in regards to number of games played. The Ottawa Senators play 5 games this week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, so they're definitely a good team to have some players from. The Carolina Hurricanes, the New Jersey Devils, and the Montreal Canadiens all play 4 games this week, with the Carolina Hurricanes, the Devils, and the Sens all playing on Monday as well, which is the least busy night of the entire week. Definitely these 4 teams are really good to have players from because you'll max out your games that way. Jumping into some forwards to add, and first on the list is Jesper Bratt of the New Jersey Devils. And not only do the Devils play 4 games this week, but Bratt has been the best player on the Devils the entire season. He's up to 41 points in 42 games. He's been a point-per-game player this year, and somehow he's only 60% rostered, which is absolutely crazy considering how good this guy has been all year. If he's available in your league, he's a must-add this week. Next is Tyler Toffoli of the Montreal Canadiens, and we know how good Toffoli has been the past couple of seasons, and he seems to be back. That line of Suzuki, Toffoli, and Lehkonen right now, that top line in Montreal is playing very, very well, and he's putting up a lot of points right now. So in a week that the Habs play 4 games, and a lot of teams only play 2 or 3 or even none, Toffoli makes for an excellent pickup. Then I have Tim Stützle of the Ottawa Senators, 38% rostered. He's playing on the top line right now with Tkachuk and with Tyler Ennis. He should stay there after the All-Star break unless Josh Norris is back. But even if Norris is back, Stützle will still get second line time and will still see top power play time. So he's one of the best adds for this week, considering that the Sens play 5 games this week. Then I have Brendan Gallagher of the Montreal Canadiens. And while he's not my favorite ad in the world, Gallagher is someone that offers a relatively safe floor night in and night out because he likes to shoot the puck a decent amount. And he's playing on a pretty decent line with Mike Hoffman, while also seeing top power play time. Then I have Michael Bunting of the Toronto Maple Leafs, 27% owned, and he's playing on a line with Matthews and Marner, who are both very, very hot right now, and they're 2 of the best players in the league. That's an amazing place to be. While he doesn't see top power play time, he doesn't need to with the deployment that he has 5-on-5. Next is Nico Hischier playing on the second line with Andreas Johnsson and Jimmy Vesey. Not my favorite line in the world, but he does see top power play time, and he is a very talented player, and that's why I don't mind adding him for a week in which the Devils have a pretty favorable schedule. And next I have Mason Marchment of the Florida Panthers, and you all probably know him as the guy who scored 6 points a couple of games ago. I do have a star next to his name though, because the Panthers don't play a single game this week, so if you're picking him up hoping that he's going to carry you through this week, that's not going to happen. Marchment doesn't play this week. If you're picking him up as a future for next week and further on in your fantasy season. The thing is with Mason Marchment is he looks really good on the ice, but the ice time isn't really there. That being said, Anton Lundell has been the 3rd line center for a long time now, and he's managed to produce. So Florida might just be an exception team that even though their 3rd line doesn't necessarily get that much time, they're still able to produce. And that's why I don't hate Mason Marchment as an ad. But once again, guys, don't add him to help you win this week specifically. Next is Matt Boldy of the Minnesota Wild, 19% rostered, and he's suddenly starting to see an uptick in rostership, which he should because he is a point per game player, has 10 points in 10 games, and has been confirmed by the Wild to stay on the roster for the rest of the season. So he's not going to be sent back down because he's playing so well, and he's playing on a line with Kevin Fiala, who is now on a 12-game point streak. That's a guy who I really like to add right now in Matt Boldy. Then I have Dylan Strome of the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's being added in a lot of leagues right now, which is understandable. He plays top line with Patrick Kane and also top power play, and he's been producing as of late. Last couple games, not so much, but the deployment is there, and he's looking a lot better. And he also might get traded at the deadline, so there's a little bit of upside there as well, depending on what team he lands on. I don't mind streaming Dylan Strome. The Blackhawks only do play 2 games this week, but they play 4 next week, so definitely not a bad add in Dylan Strome. Then I have Mike Hoffman of the Montreal Canadiens, who's seeing top power play time and is also playing on the second line with Brendan Gallagher, which is not a terrible deployment, and he's been playing pretty well lately, so honestly, a pretty solid streamer. Next is my Manscaped must-add player of the video, Connor Brown. Get 20% off and free shipping, guys, with the code word FANTASYTIPPED at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with the code word FANTASYTIPPED. Unlock your confidence, guys, and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Now, why is Connor Brown my Manscaped must-add player of the video? Well, for one thing, he has 19 points in 26 games so far. He has been injured for the last little while, though, but he should be back Monday for that game on Monday, and he's a really, really good player. He's solid as it comes. He likes to shoot the puck a lot, and he's able to put up points left and right. He's very, very underrated, and he might just slot in right away to the second line or even the top line, given the injuries in Ottawa, and might even slot in on the top power play. This guy is a really, really good add for next week, especially since the Sens play 5 games. Then I have Alex Formenton of the Sens. Again, they play 5 games, so that's already a good reason to add Alex Formenton. He's seeing top power play time, second line time, and he's been producing a lot as of late, so I don't mind the Formenton add. Then I have Brandon Hagel of the Chicago Blackhawks, and while everyone's looking at Dylan Strome, I'm looking more at Brandon Hagel. He's been the more impressive one. He's scoring more goals, and he's also seeing top line and top power play time with Patrick Kane. So he's someone that could definitely be added in deeper leagues. Had a bit of a disappointing last couple games, but overall, he's been pretty solid this season, and especially lately, been pretty good. Then I have Tyler Ennis of the Ottawa Senators, 5% rostered, and as of right now, he's on that top line with Stützle and Tkachuk, also top power play. So the opportunity is definitely there for him to put up some points. Will he necessarily remain top line when the Senators resume? Not 100%, but there's a pretty good chance that he still does stay there, and he's been producing as of late, so he's a pretty good add. Then I have Nathan Bastian of the New Jersey Devils, 3% rostered, and he's been shuffled up and down the lineup lately. You're only adding this guy in a league that counts hits. He's been hitting like a madman lately while shooting the puck a pretty nice amount too. On top of this, he's actually playing on the top power play in New Jersey. So while he hasn't necessarily been putting up a lot of points, the upside to put up points is there. So if you need someone who's going to give you a safe floor night in and out in a league that counts hits, Nathan Bastian is exactly that. Then I have Nick Paul of the Ottawa Senators, 2% rostered, doesn't see top power play time, sees second power play time, but also plays on the penalty kill and sees a lot of ice time overall. So he's someone, because he's on the ice so much, is someone that has a good opportunity to put up points. Not my favorite option, but if you're in a pretty deep league, I don't mind adding him. Then I have Jesper Fast of the Carolina Hurricanes, who's playing on the top line with Aho and Svechnikov right now. Will he necessarily remain there when play resumes and Teravainen is likely back? Maybe not, but you can wait until the day before or the day of the Hurricanes resuming on Monday and see if Fast is still playing on that top line with Aho, because if he is, he's got a pretty decent amount of upside, especially if you're in a really deep league where there's nobody better available. Then I have Arturi Lehkonen of the Montreal Canadiens playing on the top line with Suzuki and with Tyler Toffoli, and he has really been producing lately, been really impressive on the ice, and he's someone that I do like to add in deeper league. He's really producing right now, and the Habs have 4 games this week, so solid add. Then I have Jake Evans of the Montreal Canadiens, and while he doesn't see any power play time at all, he's been producing as well. He's on a 4-game point streak and he scored 5 points during that stretch. And guys on point streaks are guys that I like to target because they're guys who are really producing right now and might continue to do so. If you're in a really deep league and you're desperate, Evans is an option. Then I have Adam Gaudette of the Ottawa Senators, 0% rostered, and I actually have him in one of my leagues, and he's rostered in both my other leagues, so I'm surprised that he's still 0% rostered. But anyway, he's playing right now on the second line in Ottawa alongside Alex Formenton and Chris Tierney, and he's been playing pretty well as of late. He's firing the puck a decent amount, he's hitting a nice amount, and he's been able to put up some points since coming to Ottawa. He has 7 points in 12 games, and due to all the injuries, he's getting a pretty solid opportunity to get some top 6 minutes. So because of that, Gaudette is honestly a pretty solid add. So jumping into some defense options now, and first on the list I have Damon Severson of the New Jersey Devils, 27% rostered. And while there is a chance that Dougie Hamilton comes back next week, if he doesn't, Severson is a really good streamer. He has 6 points in his last 7 games, and he gets to play on that top power play in New Jersey. So because of that, he makes for a solid add, assuming that Dougie Hamilton doesn't come back just yet. Next are Connor Murphy and Calvin DeHaan of the Chicago Blackhawks, 13% and 6% rostered. Both of them have been absolute machines when it comes to floor lately. They've been blocking a lot of shots, they've been shooting the puck a decent amount, and they even hit a little bit. So their floor has been absolutely fantastic for the past few weeks, which is really, really great. So if you need a guy that's going to give you a safe floor night in and out, Murphy and DeHaan are the guys that I would go with. And DeHaan's actually the better ad than Connor Murphy despite being lower owned because, well, he's been blocking more shots. Next I have Artem Zub of the Ottawa Senators, 4% rostered, and he's someone I'm adding basically just for this week because the Sens do play 5 games, and he'll give you a safe-ish floor night in and out. He hits a little bit, he blocks a little bit, he shoots a little bit, but he's not going to get a lot of any particular peripheral on any particular night. So he'll give you a safe-ish floor, but that will add up over the course of 5 games. So if that's what you need, he's definitely an option. Gonna have Brett Pesce of the Carolina Hurricanes. He also plays 4 games this week, which is a pretty good. And Brett Pesce, it manages to put up a point every couple games or so, and he blocks a decent amount of shots as well. So there is a little bit of a floor there for Brett Pesce. Then I have Luke Schenn of the Vancouver Canucks. And over his last 2 games, he has hit 12 and 7 times, which is absolutely insane. And he's managed to put a couple of goals in the net as well lately. So he's definitely someone who's, on the rise a little bit. He's seeing a lot of minutes in Vancouver. And this dude has been hitting like a madman all season. So if you need someone for hits, Luke Schenn is definitely the guy for you. Jumping into some goalies quickly that you could stream for this week. And first on the list is Peter Mrazek. Jack Campbell, despite being named to the All-Star game, has not been playing that great lately. So Mrazek might see some more starts going forward and could see as many as 50% of the starts going forward if Campbell continues to not play that well, which is why I don't mind adding Mrazek, especially if you're a Jack Campbell owner. He's someone that I would add just in case. Then I have Matt Murray and Anton Forsberg of the Ottawa Senators. And the Sens play 5 games this week, including 2 sets of back-to-backs. So Murray will probably see 3 starts, whereas Anton Forsberg will still see 2 starts this week because of the 2 sets of back-to-backs, which is why I don't mind adding Anton Forsberg for the Sens. Then I have Craig Anderson of the Buffalo Sabres, 8% roster, and he's back. And he is the starter in Buffalo. He should get at least half the starts going forward because Tokarski is actually also back too, so he could also potentially see half the starts as well. They might want to rest Craig Anderson a little bit more because, he's pretty old at this point. So Tokarski could also see half the starts going forward. I don't have him on this list, but he's someone you can consider as well. Then I have Caden Primo of the Montreal Canadiens, 2% rostered. And Montembeault has been absolutely brutal lately, so I think Primo will get 3 out of the 4 starts for Montreal this week. Starting Montreal goalies is at your own risk, though. Then I have John Gillies of the New Jersey Devils, and Blackwood is still on IR. I'm not sure if he'll be ready to return next week. They haven't really released too many details on it, so if he doesn't return next week, Gillies should start 3 out of the 4 games. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter at FantasyTipped. I hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and I'll catch you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.